Everybody, great morning, great morning, great morning. What's happening? Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. I hope you guys are ready. This morning we are going to get into some exciting topic, or get into an exciting topic, Cherie. Actually, pick up on part two. We're talking about your information over there underneath the book on boundaries. Yeah. So if you're just coming in the room, by the way, guys, do me a favor, chime in, put it in the chat. Where are you tuning in from? That's what I'd like to know. Where are you tuning in from? And what's your government name? Where are you tuning in from? And put your good government name in the chat. Babe, I'm excited. We're going to pick up on part two of relationship goals 2020, and how to navigate your relationship based upon your personality.
Cool. Yeah, I think that being able to understand your partner is essential and helps you to better navigate through the woes of relationships.
Woes. So we're getting ready to go live, getting ready. Hey, Teresa, what's up, Sidna? What's up, Karen? We're getting ready to go ahead and go live on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram at all, I want you to do us a favor and follow us at Breakfast with the Brookses on Instagram, and try and engage that community a little bit, just so that we can keep those people clued in on to what's happening, what we got going on, and how we can be of assistance to them. If you're on Instagram, do me a favor and go ahead and jump over. Just kind of have two things going on, I guess. We'd love to be able to engage you there. So, babe, we're getting ready to go live here on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Instagram. We'll be live in just 1 second with you guys on YouTube.
You got it.
I know it.
I could have helped you.
I know you could have. Great morning, everybody on Instagram. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. We're super excited. LaRonda is here. Karen is here. Sidna is here from Glen Burnie. Karen is representing. Good to have everybody. Listen, if you are on IG, do me a favor and drop where you are tuning in from. We're getting ready to go live here in about 30 seconds on Breakfast with the Brookses. Chris Bell, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Guys, if you've already taken the disc assessment, the one that we give, and you know what your animal is, do me a favor, put your animal in the chat. Percival, Virginia is in the building. Good to see you. LaRonda, where are you tuning in from today? Let us know.
Good morning, Ebony. Ebony's joining us on Instagram.
Hey, Ebony. What's going on? So we're live, babe, on YouTube, and appreciate you guys. Love to have you. Do me a favor, if you can, share this out as quickly as you can, baby. I need you to kind of square yourself in this particular screen over here. You may want to just kind of, there we go. Now you got to be concerned. Yeah. So how about we do it this way?
Yeah,
that's better?
Yes.
That's better. All right, we're just trying to get ourselves together here, guys. Again, if you guys have taken the animal assessment, if you've taken the 4 animals, we call it Welcome to the Jungle. It's actually the disc assessment overlaid by the 4 animals. Do me a favor, put your primary and your secondary animal in the chat. I'm gonna go get my my animals off the shelf in a second. But I am a chameleon. I'm a flamingo lion. Cherie is a
lion.
I'm a flying. So yeah, I'm a flying. Let me go get my animals real quick.
And I'm a turtle chameleon, so I'm a tertullian.
No, a turtle chameleon. You're a
tertullian.
A tertullian. Is that what it is?
I'm a tertullian.
Okay. All right. Cool. So Instagram. These are my animals. I am flamingo and lion. We're going to explain that in a minute. And Cherie are the other two. Talk to them, babe.
I'm a turtle and a chameleon.
Yep, turtle and chameleon. So I want you to do me a favor. If you know what your animal is, put it in the chat. If you know what your animal is, put it in the chat. I'm still waking up, baby. I need coffee. Thank you so much for making my coffee. Can you just go ahead and introduce everybody? Tell them where we need them to go to visit and the whole bit. Come on, let's talk.
Hey guys, for those of you that are new to our channel, we are Glenn and Cherie Brooks. We're author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coaches. And if you'd like to learn more information about us, you can go to www.thesierracoach.com, where we host an online relationship academy, which is the MAPS Relationship Academy, where we meet with couples, parents, singles, men and women, individually online, to help them build better relationships, help them learn the skills and the tools to have healthy and functional relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing that I want you guys to do, if you have not taken the DISC assessment with us, and you want to do that, do me a favor. Go ahead and drop us your email address in the chat. If you can put your email address in the chat, I'm going to send you a link. There is a cost to it, but I guarantee you, once you spend this money, it'll be money worth spending, I promise you. And the reason why is because it's going to give you a full overview of your personality. Right now, we're running a special. We normally charge, if you go to our website, I think it's like $97. We're doing it for a limited time for only $47. And what that does is it gets you an opportunity not only to take the test, take the assessment, figure out what animal you are, but do a debrief. And in that debrief, I am going to overlay for you those 4 animals. And it's going to be a 22-page document that you get in return. So do me a favor. We'll talk a little bit about this
Right, so you can
as we
either
go.
drop your email in the chat or you can just message us. Message either one of us and give us your email address and we'll get that information over to you. I know some people may not want to put it in the chat.
Yeah, may not want to put it in the chat. You can DM us. I appreciate that, Ebony, putting it on IG. So let's get into this content, baby. Last week we left off and we talked about relationship. And good to see Richard. Good to see Daryl. Shalom. Good to see you, my friend. Great to have you on live today. Nikki is here. She's a chameleon turtle. Let's go back through this a little bit. So who do we have on YouTube? We said Nikki is a chameleon turtle. Chris is a flamingo lion. Okay, awesome. Who else do we have in here? Lorana says she's in Jacksonville. If you know, Teresa Bryan is a chameleon turtle. If you know what your animals are, I want you to do me a favor and put them in the chat. If you don't know what they are, it's because you haven't taken the assessment. I want you to sign up and do that. Cherie, talk to me a little bit about some of what you've discovered as a result of going through what we've been doing for the last 20 years, and that is learning more and more and more about our personalities. What are some of the discoveries that you've made about your personality that's changed everything, not only in your relationships, but also in how you show up at work and the different things, and how are you able to navigate now with me now that you understand you?
Right. I think one thing that's key for me is that I realize that I'm not just my primaries, that I have some of all of the different personalities. So I have, 49% lion, 39% flamingo. And so for years, I thought I was just 100% introverted, I didn't have anything in me to be able to speak forward, to speak up for myself. I didn't believe that I was really a lion. And so because I realized that I have a balance of all of the different temperaments, I'm able to pull on those in situations when I need to because I'm conscious of it now. So I realize that there are situations when I need to be more social and I'm able to tell myself, okay, you have it in you. Whereas, in the past, I would have been like, that's just not who I am. But it is who I am. It's just not my go-to per se. But that is a part of who I am. And I can say that over the years, especially in our marriage, you've gotten to see much more of my flamingo over time.
Yep.
I've gotten more comfortable with that. And also it helps me to embrace your 99% flamingo and not let that rub me the wrong way.
Right.
Because, and that lines up, it's funny because for you, that lines up with one of your values, which is fun. And for me, early on in our relationship, there was a rub there because I'm a chameleon turtle, so I'm always serious, I'm always focused.
Yeah. And
it would rub me the wrong way, but I've learned to appreciate that, and I've learned how to respond to you and how to just respect the differences that we have.
Yeah.
And learn how to, pull on my little bit so that I can tolerate your whole lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So that we can get along.
Guys, I want you to put this in the chat. Put embrace differences. Embrace your differences. Put that in the chat. Embrace your differences. Put that in the chat, both on Instagram and on YouTube. Embrace your differences. Cherie, one of the things that I recognize, and I want you guys to understand that, and I'm gonna give you guys some descriptions and characterizations of these animals. Cherie's turtle, because she's 88% turtle, shows up as a perfectionist. Shows up as very, very systematic. shows up as very detailed oriented, super analytical. Those things are all counter to what my temperament is. And so if you and I were going to grow in relationship now, almost 21 years at the end of this month, I had to figure out how to shoot the gap and how to coexist with that. Now, here's what most people do. Most people tolerate one another.
Right.
I'm going to help y'all out. I want y'all to listen. Most people in relationships, particularly if they've been in relationship for any length of time, you will find yourself tolerating one another, just putting up with what it is. Right. You don't like it. You don't particularly care for it. Quite frankly, you wish that it wasn't that way. But because you, quote, love this person, you will tolerate their temperament. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
Right, right.
And the reason why that's a problem is not that you're not being tolerant. The fact of the matter is that is who they are. It's not what they're doing. Right. And eventually the tolerance will wear thin if that's all you got.
Right. And the difference is, and it's simply a mindset. When you tolerate something, you're putting up with it. You don't like it. And so there's a attitude, or there's feelings behind it. But when you embrace it, you're looking at it as like, you see a little puppy or something, it's like, oh, that's so sweet.
Right.
So there's a difference when you embrace something. There's affection that comes with that.
Right.
But when you tolerate it, there's this disdain. But I'm gonna ignore it. I'm gonna
put up with it.
I'm gonna put up with it, but I don't like it. And so there's a difference in your attitude. So by changing your perspective versus just tolerating the differences with your spouse, if you can learn to embrace the difference with your spouse, it causes you to focus on the good things about that difference. And it's funny because I always will say you're special. And I'm
special. Y'all know that's code.
But it's not. So
I used to think that was code for something.
Code, but what I have to do, like when he's being flowing in his flamingo, I have to be like, oh, I'm saying you so special, but it's like oh, you so special, not you special, like you special.
You cute.
So it's a difference.
Yeah, your special is oh, ain't that cute.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. Guys, I'm going to tell y'all something, and we're going to talk a little bit about this today. The question, Cherie, becomes, how do you move past tolerance to embracing? Mm-hmm. How do you move past tolerance to embracing? Karen says she's 99% flamingo and 56% chameleon. So she said, I guess I'm flamingo chameleon. Yeah, you're a flamillion. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think that's Lanique. I can't quite see it from here. It's great to see you. I think that's who that is. 2019 on Instagram. You put your welcome, email in there. We'll shoot you some information after this is over. But listen to me, guys. I want y'all to understand. I want to help you move from tolerating something to embracing something. Okay? And so I want to talk about that principle a little bit today, because it has everything to do with what it is that you ultimately want. I need y'all to hear this really carefully. What is it that you ultimately want in the relationship? And on Instagram, babe, one of the things that I realize is that Instagram's platform is very different than YouTube's platform. Right. It behaves different. Mm-hmm. There are different rules that apply in the world of Instagram than it does in the world of YouTube. YouTube is a search engine, right? Mm-hmm. People go onto YouTube looking for something. I'm going somewhere with this, guys. When they go onto YouTube, it's not just necessarily just to passively engage. They want something that's going to show them something, teach them something. There's a ton of how-to things. You can build a house by watching a YouTube video, right?
Right.
On Instagram is more of a social platform that displays what you got happening, and people want you to kind of peer into their lives. When I deal with a turtle, when I deal with a chameleon, your platform is different than that of a flamingo and a turtle. Okay. I mean, a flamingo and a chameleon.
That's a good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if I understand why your platform behaves the way it does and the reason for it, it helps me to embrace it. Right. So now I can actually live between two worlds. Mm-hmm. We're going live on YouTube. When I look this way, I'm talking to my YouTube audience. When we're looking this way, we're talking to our Instagram audience. But I understand that there are different ways that you guys engage content. So rather than me try to make my IG conform to YouTube or make my YouTube folks conform to Instagram, I become self-aware enough to know as to how you show up and why. And what I will do is I will position myself in order to connect with you best. Does that make sense?
Right. And I think that one thing, when we get into relationships, when you first meet a person, often it's the things that are different about them that do attract you. But I think as you go in a relationship, you want that person to be like you. And so because they're not like you, now that becomes an issue versus you embracing and celebrating their differences like you did in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so if you recognize, number one, we're all individuals. And so we all had individual different circumstances that we grew up in.
Yep.
And so we're two, like to use Glenn's example, we're two different operating systems. And so, but they can work together.
They can.
If you take the time to understand one another, if you take the time to see where the compatibility really is.
Yep.
And it can work, but I think that we are so focused on making or wanting the other person to be just like us.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to embrace somebody else's differences.
There's no question about it.
Because you just want them to be like you, and especially if you're a chameleon or a turtle, because we think we're right all the time.
So my lions and my flamingos, I need y'all to listen up really carefully. Sharia's a turtle chameleon, right? She is, where's your percentages at, babe? I want to look at them because I want to quote them accurately. So Sharia is 88% turtle. Pick up your turtle. 88% turtle, and then she comes in right behind that 63% chameleon, right? And when we talk about the turtle, remember, we're talking about someone who is very analytical. What's up, Coach Rice? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for jumping on. Y'all do me a favor. Share this out to somebody. Tag a particular person. Maybe you are thinking about a very specific person that needs to hear that. I want you to share this to them this morning so they get this message. When you're talking about a turtle, you're talking about somebody who is analytical. When you think about a turtle, I want you to think about someone who is always in their mind trying to figure things out. Let me explain something to you about the behavior of a turtle. Turtles move when they have to. Mm-hmm. Most people associate turtles with being slow. That would be a mischaracterization of a turtle.
We're purposed.
They are extremely intentional about how they move. And when you are a flamingo, you are not extremely intentional about how you move.
You're all over the place.
So for me, as a 99% flamingo, I have to be able to slow down and allow myself to be able to communicate to that turtle on the turtle's level. And the way you do that is to become not so colorful. You got to back off. When I'm having conversations with your turtle, not you, because sometimes I'm having conversations with your chameleon.
Right.
But when I'm having conversations with your turtle, I have to remember tone is important.
Right.
I have to remember timing is critical.
Right, because it'll cause me to go into my shell. I'll retreat.
And if I know that on the front end, what it does is it helps me to navigate that before the conversation even really gets started.
Right, because turtles don't like to, if we feel like we're being attacked, we go into our shell.
Yep.
And so an attack can be just you simply having a conversation with me and you're excited. Your voice elevates because you're passionate. I perceive that as a threat, and so I'll go into my shell where I'm going to either flee, or I'm going to just go. I'm going to go inward, or I'm going to actually physically flee the situation. And so, if you know that about a turtle, you'll know when you're having a conversation with them how to have that conversation for them to be able to receive you. Not to say that you can't still talk to me, not to say that you can't still discuss an issue with me. But you'll know that you can't raise your voice with me because even if I'm still standing there, know that I've checked out. I'm not there. I've retreated.
Absolutely. So a lot of times when Sharia and I are having in-depth conversations about something that I really need her to understand, I have to mind my tone. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to help you guys understand. Tone is not necessarily volume. It's a part of it. But when she's talking about tone, I want you guys to think it is the intent by which you're delivering that information. Tone speaks more to motive than it does anything else.
Right.
I can say, do me a favor and sit your hind parts down over in that corner. And if you move again, I'm going to knock you out. My tone is off, but my volume is low.
Right.
Or I could say, hey, babe, do me a favor. If you can you go grab that over there for me? Because I'm going to need it for what I'm getting ready to do. Mm-hmm. My voice is elevated, but my tone is not.
Right.
Does that make sense? So tone speaks to motive. It speaks to what is the intent of the conversation. And when I'm dealing with a turtle, and let me tell y'all something, I've lived with this one for more than 20 years now. Thank you, Jesus. Mm-hmm. I have understood something over the past. If I want Cherie to move, I cannot give her information at the last minute.
Right.
Her turtle mind is much too analytical, and what she's doing is she's trying to process through it before she can even answer my question. Does that make sense?
Right.
So again, I am a flamingo. I'm 99% flamingo in my natural. I'm 95% flamingo in my adaptive. I'm also 80% lion.
And I'm
80% lion in my natural, and here's the difference. I'm only 25% lion in my adaptive. If you take this assessment, I'll explain to you the natural versus the adaptive. And the truth of the matter is that when all eyes are on me to make decisions, I generally don't rise to the occasion. I back off and allow the person in the room who I have a tremendous amount of respect for to make the decision because I am okay with executing on it. Does that make sense? So I'll defer to her analytics in a heartbeat in my adaptive. When things are not stressful, when it's not for all the marbles and it's all, we got to do it now. Cherie oftentimes runs the pace of where we're going in our family, and she'll subtly share something, and I'll be like, that's a good idea, and then I execute just like that.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right, and I was gonna say, even when we do events, my 49% lion rises during that time because I'm making things happen. I'm in charge. I'm making sure that everything is in play, and in those situations, your lion defers to me.
Yep.
In those situations.
Absolutely. So guys, there's a science to this, and when you understand it, it changes everything. Put in the chat connecting the dots. Put in the chat connecting the dots, because I want to kind of stay on this subject of how do I move from tolerating you to embracing you? Mm-hmm. How do I move from tolerating your temperament to embracing your temperament? How do I move from that's nice to I need that?
Right.
That's okay. To oh my God, what do you like? What do you think? Right. No, wait a minute. Before you say something, let me get my pen because I know you're going to say something pretty amazing. I need to be able to write it down. So, Cherie, what do you think about this thing that we're getting ready to do?
Right. And I think that it's a matter of, like I said, and I keep going back to this, it's simply being able to respect each other's differences.
Put that in the chat.
It's not that.
Step one to moving from tolerating to embracing is respect
each other's differences. Respect that they are different. Respect that they bring something different to the table. And in order to be able to do that, you have to focus on the positives. You can't constantly be looking at how they're different, how it rubs you the wrong way.
Right.
But look at what the benefits of that are. Like, so with Glenn, he's, like he said, he's 99% flamingo, but it's his 99% flamingo that initially drew me to him because he was in a leadership position. He was leading and he was up in the front, and he was it was that in the line, the 81% line in him that drew me to him because he was him being a leader that was attractive to me. And so seeing him run things and handle his business and
go ahead. I got something.
I'm getting ready to flip this on you.
Ooh, I love it.
In that area, seeing him up speaking and pouring into the lives of people was something that I saw that attracted me to him. I like that part of him, that he can get up and he can speak and he speaks his mind. He doesn't hold back what he has to share. But on the flip side of that, his 32% chameleon and 23%, 39% turtle, I got to see him. Okay, I got to see him publicly. His turtle his flamingo and his lion operate, but then I also got to see where he had some deficits in his chameleon and his turtle as we got to know each other better.
Right.
And was able to see that, okay, so he wasn't strong in those areas, but I was strong in those areas. Mm-hmm. So I was able to help him along in those areas. And I think the key with that was that he was willing to allow me to add value to him, and he didn't take it as an offense when I pointed out some areas that he needed to grow in.
Yeah.
And he was willing to take the help.
Yep. Guys, listen, I'm getting some revelation on some stuff, and I need to help y'all with this, Cherie. This is a part of my flamingo. When Cherie talks, I need y'all to hear this. I get goosebumps when I think about this, because it is amazing that if people hear what I'm getting ready to say, it'll change the game and how you build relationships. What's going on, Hud? Good to see you, brother. Listen, guys, I need y'all to share this out. If this is helping you, put "it's helping me" in the chat, because I need to know that we're connecting to you. If this is making sense, put "makes sense" in the chat. I need to know that we're resonating with you. I don't want to just be here just as a talking head. I want to make sure that this is connecting. Cherie, we're talking about how do you move from tolerate to embrace. When we're talking about moving from tolerate to embrace, overarching thing, you have to learn how to connect the dots. Mm-hmm. I get excited because I have learned to move past tolerating your turtle to embracing your turtle. Mm-hmm. Your turtle is 88% in its natural. Mine is only 39.
Right.
On a good day, I'm showing up in a deficit. When it comes to analyzing things, I am not systematic by no means, by no stretch. Not only am I not systematic, I don't think strategically. Mm-hmm. I don't think reverse engineering something, looking at the end and then backing up and then start. Right. That process I learned living with her.
Right.
Y'all need to hear this. When Cherie and I got married, I couldn't critical think my way out of a wet paper bag. My charisma is what got me over most of my life. The charisma of the flamingo, especially when you're 99% flamingo like I am, guys, it will get you over in situations where you're not really that talented and that good, because people like flamingos. They want to be around that energy. They want to be around that level of charisma, that level of grace, if you will. It's a connection. It's a fire. You just feel like you can run through a brick wall when you hang out with flamingos and lions, because the flamingo is the person that's celebratory, but the lion is the person that believes in themselves. Mm-hmm. That's the person that will stand up and they exude confidence on a level that it actually births confidence with people in the room. We're talking about connecting the dots. Right. We're talking about moving from tolerating to embracing. When I got to the place where I learned that your strengths were something to be embraced, mm-hmm. When I got to the place where I was willing to back up, respect your strengths. Number one, respect the person's temperament. Respect what they bring to the table. Right. Because here's what I'm going to submit. It's who they are. It's not what they're doing. So it's not going to change. Mm-hmm. And if you can't develop a certain level of respect for it, you're going to have a whole you're going to have a whole entire problem. Cherie, when you speak, I often have told you that you're right probably 85 to 90% of the time. And the only reason I back up and give you that much margin is because you're a human being. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you something right now about this one right here. She is right way more than she's wrong. And it's not because she's smart. She's smart. That's not why she's right more than she's wrong. It's because she's turtle. Hand me that. It's because she's turtle. Listen to me. Turtles by nature are analyzers. They sit in their head and all they do is pull facts apart and they research them. Turtles know stuff about things that people really should know about. Because the way they function, guys, listen to me really carefully, is that they have to know the answer. Right. It's a thing when for them, unless they know the answer, they're not comfortable with moving. They're not comfortable. That's why turtles don't really, many of them, unless they're really high flamingo, they don't talk very much.
Right.
Because they want to be right. They want to be accurate. They want to make sure that their facts are straight. So when I sat long enough to learn how this woman trafficked, that wasn't just, she wasn't trying to be smarter than me. She wasn't trying to level up and to one me up or to anything like that. She was just being turtle. All turtles that are 88% like that, they're all like that. Now, if you're only 25% turtle, I ain't talking to you. I'm not talking to me. You get what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I don't think deep. I think often.
Right.
I don't sit and ponder much. I have to make myself sit down and consider stuff. When I began to respect that that's who she was, it changed everything. So now, oftentimes, Cherie will find me running to get something to write with when she talks. Because I don't want to miss it, because I'm already showing up with a deficit. I don't possess that ability because it's not who I am at my DNA.
Right.
You got anything?
I mean, I just was gonna say, I agree with you. I think that as a turtle, that I think about things before I speak. So before I say something, I've mulled it over and like you said, fact checked and make sure that I have as much information as I possibly can. Now, that, like you said, I am human, so I do make mistakes. I do, speak incorrectly at times, but for the most part, I do think about things and before I speak. And so a lot of times it's funny because you would say, it's kind of like when those that remember the back in the day, the thing when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody's quiet. It's like I kind of feel like that sometimes because when I talk, everybody's like, okay, she got something to say.
It's like, oh,
she got something to say, and it's like, and so, but that's the way it is with all turtles.
Yeah.
People that are really high turtles, when they say something,
right,
you know that they're going to say something that's going to add value. They're not just talking. We
Absolutely.
don't just talk just to be talking.
Absolutely. Number 2, I've got 3 things I'm going to give you guys. We're talking about how do you move from tolerating the person's animal to truly embracing it, right? Number 2, I want you to put this in the chat. Number 2, Instagram, YouTube, put this in the chat. You have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge it. When I want to move from just tolerating you to embracing you, I have to acknowledge the fact that you are here, you are real, and what you bring to the table is of value.
Right.
I have to acknowledge that. I have to acknowledge that first with me, and then I have to acknowledge that out loud. And the reason why is because it gives the people in the room, including my wife, the confidence to want to give me more.
Right.
Let me help y'all out. A lot of people, we're talking about relationship goals in 2020, Cherie, and a lot of people have these lofty relationship goals. They want this, they want that, they want the greatest parenting relationship, they want the greatest relationship with their husband, their wives, they want to make sure that they are a team, they want to feel like they're being supported. Here's one of the things that changed the game with us years ago when I started acknowledging publicly that I had great respect for how you roll, how you move, how you operate. And what I learned is that it for the turtle who generally wouldn't talk, it helped you to identify and find your voice.
Right, it did. And I think that because oftentimes, like you said, turtles and chameleons, often we stay in our head. And so as much as we're perfectionists, we also have a lot of insecurity. Because we're not that outward person. And this is for most introverts. You're not...
Oh, by the way, guys, chameleons and turtles are introverted. Flamingos and lions are extroverted. Always remember that.
Right.
Right? However, listen to me carefully. The lion and the turtle are cousins. And the reason why is because they're both task driven.
Right.
They're both results oriented. They walk into the room thinking about the results first. That's why the lion and the turtle can come across as cold, callous, and non-caring. And the reason why is because it's not because they don't care about people, it's because they care about people after the results.
Right, they're mission focused first.
They're completely mission oriented. And the higher you are, the more mission oriented you are. And so I need you to understand they're not just screwing with you. It's because it's not that they don't like you. If you have a boss that is a turtle, they're not going to be warm and fluffy, especially if they're really high turtle.
Right.
They're not going to encourage you. They're not going to say a lot. Cherie used to have it. I want you to talk about embracing even my animals, because you had to learn how to give me words of affirmation.
Right.
That didn't come naturally to your turtle.
No, not at all. Yeah, I'm the type of person, I'm like, you just supposed to do what you're supposed to do. So why do I need to
Had that conversation. Why are we talking about
Why
that?
do I need to affirm you for taking the trash out?
Right.
You're supposed to do that. But I learned that for you as a chameleon lion, you needed affirmation.
Flamingo lion.
Flamingo lion, that you needed that affirmation because you are an extrovert and you need affirmation. So I had to practice and learn over time how to do that. And that was like how he talked about he was able to acknowledge, you know, my personality and how I was adding added value to him. For him, it was me affirming him publicly, based on, you know, just things that he does, just the way that he is. You know, one thing with him being a flamingo, it's his flamingo, I credit that with helping me to be much more social of a person than I ever was. And so it's because being around him and him just not pulling me to do it, but him wanting to have fun, wanting us to do things with other people, that helped to bring that part out in me. And I'm grateful for that, because today I have, you know, friends, I have relationships with other people that I would not have had because I would have stayed to myself completely.
100%. So guys, we're talking about, Karen said, I need a session. I appreciate you putting that in the chat. Edith, thank you so much. Deirdre, it's good to have you. Great to have our friend Shirley Hines is in the building. Those turtles drive me crazy, but I need them in my life. Shirley, listen. I need turtles in my life. I have moved so far from just tolerating turtles. Listen, all of my closest friends, when I'm thinking about it today in this season that I'm in, the people who I talk to the most, the people who I confide in terms of trying to get wisdom from, most of them are turtles. Mm-hmm. Most of them are turtles or lions, one of the two. Mm-hmm. They're not fluffy people.
No.
But here's what's funny. The social part of me rubs off on them, and so we absolutely have fun. We have a great time, but they're not these fluffy people that just want to party, and I can't hang around too many flamingos too long. And the reason why, because I'm already 99%, I would not get any work done at all. I would not. Listen, it would always be a party from sun up to sundown. And there would be no kind of traction in my life, right? So for me, guys, I need y'all to understand that that is the way you have to do. So we're talking about tolerating and moving from tolerating to embracing. We're talking about if you want to realize some of your relationship goals in 2020, you're going to have to wrap your mind around this process, because this is where the game really, really changes, guys. So the last thing, or let me go back for those that just jumped in. Number one, if you're going to move from tolerating to embracing, you're going to have to learn to respect the animal, respect the personality, respect the temperament. You got to.
Right. Respect the difference.
Respect that difference, right? And then secondly, you're going to have to acknowledge it. Be public about what it is that you're seeing and how it is that this person is adding value to you, because it's going to cause them to give you more. And so when you start talking about embrace it, now the person wants to be around you. You ever find yourself around somebody and you're having to be around them versus you desire to be around them?
And that's acknowledging the positives, acknowledging how their difference adds value to you, how it benefits you, how it benefits your family, how it benefits your relationship.
Absolutely. And number three, and this is going to be a big word, and this is a word that I think that many of us have a lot of trouble with, because it involves us having to get past our egos, but you're going to have to trust. You're going to have to trust those differences. Most often, Cherie, the reason why people tolerate one another's differences versus embracing the differences, because the truth of the matter is I don't trust it. I don't trust that the chameleon actually has my best interest at hand, because she's too detailed. So my ego will say, why you all on me? Why you got to constantly remind me, you got your keys?
You got your wallet?
You got your phone? Why you got to be saying the same thing over and over again? Did you remember that? Did you see? That's because I don't trust that you actually have my best interest at heart. I think you're trying to tell me what to do. So you think you my mother? That's how that's where a lion will go. That's where a flamingo will go. So I'm not smart.
Right. Right.
Oh, so what you saying though? Y'all hear me? You have to be able to trust their differences. Let me say this very clearly. You are 63%, 63% chameleon. I want to show y'all something. When you take this test, it's going to break down each animal. This is your that's your lion. That's your and I need that one. I want y'all to understand something. I'm going to help y'all out. So I'm reading this straight out of Cherie's report, and this is what you get if you take a personality assessment with us. It's going to spit you out data. Like, this is real information. We're not just making this up. Here's what I've learned about Cherie's chameleon. Because Cherie is 6332. And so everybody's chameleon is going to have a different breakout.
Right.
She's 63% chameleon in her natural, 32% chameleon in her adaptive. If insufficient structure and order exists, you will create it. Listen to me. That point right there. If insufficient structure or order exists in her environment, in her world, on the job, in her relationships, if there's an insufficient amount of structure and order, she's going to create it by nature. Let me give you an example. When I first met Cherie, more than 20 years ago, I had put together a youth choir to represent the radio station whereby I was the station manager of. And it was a youth choir, it was a gospel station, and it was a youth choir, and I did not know, unbeknownst to me, the first kid that auditioned for this choir was her daughter. Her daughter auditioned for the choir, absolutely gorgeous voice. What messed up all the panel, they wanted her on the choir right away. Well, what I didn't know is that this one was going to come in tow. Didn't know Cherie from a can of paint, didn't know her daughter from a can of paint. Her daughter was 11 years old at the time. And I promise you, 12 years old at the time, I promise you, when this girl came to the choir, what she had with her was a portable, we had some meetings with parents. Once we got the choir assembled and we got everything put together and we was meeting with the choir on a regular basis, they were rehearsing with some famous musicians, at least locally, and I was really having this idea of really making this sort of the next Harlem's Boys Choir. If any of y'all remember them, but it was a co-ed choir, and I wanted them to be really great. So I was, as a station manager of a gospel station, I had some connections. I'm bringing all the top musicians, producers in the area, and I'm trying to make sure that they add a significant amount of value to these kids. Here's what I didn't realize. Now, you got to understand also that I'm also a youth pastor, right? A layman. I'm not full-time in terms of my job, but I'm a youth minister at my heart level, right? So I care about kids. Cherie is the one that walks in the door at one of the first meetings already with her box of files. She has a little, y'all ever see those little accordion things that they're portable and they carry like little files in it and you got little papers and I'd be talking about, okay, so I think what we need to do is take the kids on a field trip. She said, you got a permission slip? Nah, we ain't even at the permission slip level yet. What are you talking about, permission slip? Well, you can't take 200 kids anywhere without a permission slip. Oh, by the way, here, I have one that you can use. You can just change it around and you can use it. Thank you. You're welcome. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, I don't know her. I don't know her from a can of paint. She's got on sweatpants, hair pulled back in a ponytail, no makeup. I don't know what's going on with her. I'm saying to myself, who is this very laid back, aloof, but now she's got something to say when it comes. And every time I said something that spelled disorder, this joker had the form for it. Because what I didn't know is that she's 63% chameleon. Her chameleon made that nest. So where there was insufficient structure, of which we had, because I built it. Let me help y'all understand something. I so am not a structure person. Whatever I build, it's going to have some insufficient structure at the beginning. If it's not for this one, our business is not profitable. Let me just tell you that right now. If it's not for this one, I am not a full-time entrepreneur of 4.5 years now. if it's not for this one, because she brings that order to my world. So what I had to learn to do is trust that chameleon had my best interest at mind, and that really was who she was. She wasn't just trying to make me look bad.
Right.
Because if you're not careful, 80% lion, you will not embrace that and trust that process, and you'll think, oh, she's just here to make me look bad. She's here to steal my thunder. I could care less. When this one is in the room, steal my thunder, baby, because we about to go to the next level.
Right.
Anything you want to add to that?
And I mean, and the same goes for me with him, with the lion, him being a lion. There are times when his lion rises up. You know, we could be out, or even, I mean, there's been times when we've been here on the show, and, you know, he'll correct me or he'll say something, cut me off or whatever, and I don't take it personal because I trust that whatever he's got to say is important, and I don't get in my feelings behind that. But early on in our relationship, it was hard for me to yield to his lion because I felt like, you know, how you going to just, I took it personal instead of realizing he had something of value that he needed to share. That not that what I was saying wasn't important, but he needed to add.
Shirley Guest, this for you, Shirley. Shirley Guest Hines, this for you. This for you.
See, this is the flamingo now. All in the middle of me talking. Flamingo comes out.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
But he had to add. He had something to add value, and I understand why he did that. Hey, Shirley, you cool. So he just, I had to trust that he wasn't doing it that he doesn't do that to embarrass me, that he's not doing it to disregard me, but I trust that he has something important that he needs to say, or that I've gotten off track, or something, that there's an important reason why he's doing it, and I don't take it personal and I don't get in my feelings.
I know that's right. Guys, let me say this real quick. We're coming up on the end of the show today. If this has helped you, what's up, Mr. Affirmation? Good to see you. Hard for me to see the names in IG. If y'all could put your government names in the chat, it'd be easier for me to read that. I appreciate it. Tiffany, don't take it personal. Teresa said things are done in decency and in order. That's the mind of a turtle. Only turtles say that. For flamingos, things are just done.
Yes.
For lions, things are done quickly. For chameleons, things are done in in great detail. That's why their colors are nice and vibrant. For turtles, they have to be right. Don't come out your mouth and you ain't fact checked that. Poor Quentin. Right, I know it. Don't come out your mouth. Listen, the turtles is the one that will sit there and say that ain't right. That's wrong. And they can't even listen. They can't even follow the rest of the conversation because they're still stuck on the one wrong point that you make, because they are hung on that little point, splitting hairs over that, and because of that, they can't even move with the rest of the conversation. That's the person that if you're in a lecture or in a training with a turtle presenter, with a flamingo presenter, and the turtle is listening, the turtle done lost you 10 minutes ago because you gave up the wrong information.
Right, you got one fact.
You got one fact wrong.
Hold up.
You're like, hold up. And now here's why y'all done left the room, because now you on your device proving them wrong.
Right.
You already know they wrong. But now, because you're going to say something, what you're not going to do is say anything and not have, then you're going to say, when your turn, well, according to Article 15, paragraph thus and so, it states here that that's the language of a turtle. Right. And the flamingo be like, what you talking? Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. My bad, I got that wrong. Well, the truth of the matter is that they are stuck. So what I want you to do, guys, listen, what I need you to do is I need you to trust that when you are dealing with people in your life who are legit chameleon, legit turtle, legit lion, and legit flamingo, they're coming with who they are, not what they do. It's them. Right? They don't mean no harm. So I want you to learn to move from tolerating them to embracing. What HUD say? I really need to take the assessment. That sounds like me. Do me a favor, HUD. Do me a favor. Put your email address in the chat. I'm gonna go back after this is over, or direct me. You on Instagram. Send me a DM with your email address, and I'll shoot that out to you. Now, guys, listen to me carefully. This is going to help you. Embrace it. Stop just tolerating each other. If you're going to succeed in 2020 and you're going to grow in your relationships, you're going to have to move from tolerating people to embracing them. And that starts with you knowing who you are.
Right.
Does that make sense? You cannot tolerate others if you don't know who you are. That's all we got for today, guys. I'm not sure if we pick this up next week and we talk about anything else, but I just wanted to, at the beginning of this year, kind of set the tone for if you're going to have a successful relationship, you're going to have to do it intentionally. Speaking intentionally, on Tuesday nights, we're doing combined group coaching sessions for our MAPS Relationship Academy. We'd love for you to join us where we're talking about visioneering a relationship. How do you build on purpose the kind of relationship that you want with your significant other, with your spouse, with your children, even on your job? It doesn't matter. But can you do that on purpose with great intentionality? And if you can, what are the steps you need to do in order to be able to do it? What we are learning and discovering in that session, we started it last week, we'd love for you to come join us, is that there are building blocks to building relationships. And if you understand what goes first, second, third, and fourth, I promise you at the end of the day, you will get that which you're trying to develop because you will have built it. It's not something that happens accidentally. Go to www.thecrcoach.com. You can sign up for a free discovery session, and it's in that free discovery session that we'll figure out if we're a match, and then we'll give you the next steps to be able to join that community, because at the end of the day, baby, we all need some help. Y'all be good. That's all we got for today. You're welcome, Shirley. You're welcome, Teresa. You're welcome, Karen. Listen, yes, Nikkei, go back and check out the replay. I need a turtle and chameleon stuffed animal. No problem. We'll have to figure out. Listen, we don't have these available on our website, but we're gonna probably have to do that, huh? I'm gonna have to talk to one of our guys on the team and see if we can't figure out how we can get these available to y'all. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, I promise you, y'all can't get to anywhere, any place of significance by yourself. Stop trying. 2020 is not that year. You're not going to be able to get there by yourself. You're going to need people who are qualified to help you do that. We got to go. We'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully this has helped you. Can you share it out to somebody? And we'll see you back next week. Same bat time, same back channel. At the end of the day, we all need some help. Y'all be good.
All right,
Let's
guys.
talk soon.